So another new GTA 6 PS5 Pro performance leak and the PlayStation 6 price problem. Those are the stories we're going to cover today, and if you could hit that like button on the video, thank you to those that do it, and as always, it's very much appreciated. First, did you pre-order the standard or ultimate edition of Grand Theft Auto 6? There's been a survey going around that showcases most people are paying the $100 premium for Grand Theft Auto 6 over the standard $80 price, which is wild to hear, but I guess for most people, if you're going to be spending more money on a certain game, it probably feels right for that to be Grand Theft Auto 6, the game that people have been waiting for pretty much over a decade. So I'm curious where you guys are at here. So comment below if you pre-ordered the standard or ultimate edition of Grand Theft Auto 6. Let me know down in the comments below. Now diving into the first story of the video, the PS6 price problem. Reading from PushSquare, there's now a rapidly growing belief that next generation consoles, including the PlayStation 6, will cost an absolute fortune. This sentiment gained serious traction when Sony itself jacked up the price of the PlayStation 5 models back in April, an unprecedented move so late in a system's life. But it's really the official pricing announcement from Valve's Steam machine that has got people losing their minds, and rightly so. The custom-built platform's various price tags border on extortionate for many, breaking the $1,000 mark that would make any gaming machine look ridiculously expensive at a glance. Will the PlayStation 6 follow suit though? Are we facing a new reality where four-figure sums are attached to consoles? Well, it's certainly looking that way according to several reputable industry analysts. In an interview with GamesIndustry.biz, these analysts offered their own takes on the aforementioned Steam machine and whether it signals a similar shift from platform holders like Sony and Microsoft. The responses are pretty brutal. In particular, Joost van Durian, CEO of analyst firm Aldora, reckons any figure above the dreaded $1,000 mark is the floor. At this rate, the next generation may not even release until 2028, and when it does, north of $1,000 is a floor. Even existing devices are getting marked up, he predicts. Van Durian goes on to explain that component manufacturers such as Samsung are now in a post-consumer phase. In other words, your everyday buyer is no longer the priority. The new goal is to just rocket the price of products because historical demands can't be met. Fortunately, Ampere's analysis peers Harding Rolls isn't quite so convinced that console makers will succumb to crazy price tags. He argues that Valve's situation is unlike that of Sony's. The former is generally okay with shipping a niche device, while the latter knows that it has to appeal to a mass market. In short, the expectations are much different. Sony has more scale than Valve and is better positioned in terms of supply chain accessibility through its entrenched relationships and broader electronics business, he states. Still, Harding Rolls does expect prices to increase regardless of the levers that companies like Sony can utilize. He also suggests that the launch of next-gen consoles is most likely to be at the end of 2028 because of market disruption and other factors. Meanwhile, Circana's ever-informative Matt Piscatella warns that console costs will possibly even likely surpass $1,000 purely because of the chaos that surrounds the industry and the wider world right now. The future here is beyond cloudy, he concludes. It's not looking good, folks. And lastly, Newzoo's Manu Rosier thinks Sony understands the value of keeping its prices as low as possible, and so while the PS6 won't be cheap by any stretch of the imagination, the next generation models are likely to hold under $999 for psychological and marketing reasons. The bottom line here then is that the industry is cooked. Even if the PS6 was delayed a year or two, none of these analysts can see the component crisis going away, and so prices are going to jump regardless. So it's interesting for me to hear about some of these analysts predicting a 2028 launch while also pointing out that things might not even get better, even I guess beyond that. Like, this is the point that insiders were making earlier, that what would be the point in Sony delaying the console if things could potentially get worse and they don't know where things will go? They might as well release it in 2027, and if things get better in 2028, reduce the price. Like, this was the point that was being made, that they won't fully know and might not really have the quote-unquote best time to release the console. I'm happy to also see analysts acknowledge another point that's been made, one that I spoke about recently, which is Valve is not Sony. Sony has larger buying power, more connections in the supply chain, and can get way better deals than someone like Valve. Now, the other point I've thought about recently is Microsoft, who has once again increased their prices for the Xbox Series console, where the normal Xbox Series X 1 terabyte, I believe, is at $750 versus it being $599 before the huge jump in price. But then I remembered what Asha Sharma said about their supply chain issues recently. This is what she stated. While the entire industry is facing a component crisis, Xbox is being hit harder than others due to decisions made over the past several years. So she's directly here stating that Xbox seemingly has made choices that has made things worse for them in the supply chain department compared to others, which I assume here they're referring to Sony and Nintendo, who have also obviously increased prices, not to put that to the side. For Sony, with their price increases at this stage, Sony isn't looking to subsidize their console as much. I guess if it's not Japan, that's where they're kind of taking a real cut on the sale of the PlayStation 5 over there just to combat Nintendo Switch 2. For a new console launch, though, like a PlayStation 6, Sony would subsidize that console to gain market share for the new piece of hardware. So that's one thing to note if they do launch a PlayStation 6 in 2027. So I personally don't see Sony putting out a $1,000 plus console if they do intend to launch the PS6 in 2027 or even in 2028, but we'll see. And if you're enjoying the video so far, hit that subscribe button and join our growing community on our way to 150,000 subscribers. Now, diving into the second story of the video, another GTA 6 performance leak mentioning stable frame rates for PS5 Pro. So recently, more details in regards to Grand Theft Auto 6 have been dropping from sites like Amazon Brazil and another Brazilian site, I believe, called Kabum, if I said that correctly. These sites shared information about how you can switch between the main characters, have solo missions, duo missions, and that each of these characters have their own unique abilities. Information also that puts focus on the ray tracing effects in the game that goes off the cars and the water. There's also the storm and weather effects and the times of day and how that will affect the physics in the gameplay, which is amazing. It's stated that the map is the largest, densest, and most ambitious map ever created by Rockstar Games, so get ready for in-depth, rich world to explore. And one of the craziest things is that there is a living world that's powered by AI, creating organic random events throughout the map. Apparently, there's also a full social media setup integration where you can follow Vice City influencers and discover side missions through social network. That part right there is wild because it sounds like continuous random events are set to happen here, which I really want to see, how that interaction goes with NPCs. How does that play out? But the last bit from the drops of information today that I wanted to focus on was in relation to the PS5 Pro enhancement. Reading from Insider Gaming, a new listing for Grand Theft Auto 6 has revealed that the game will run better on the PlayStation 5 Pro, which is dubbed the most powerful console on the market. The news comes from a new GTA listing from the Brazilian retailer Kabum. The full description of the PS5 Pro listing reads: optimization for PS5 Pro, enjoy improved performance, more stable frame rates, and even sharper resolutions on the most powerful console on the market. There's one small catch, though the PS5 Pro is also the most expensive console on the market right now, coming in at a whopping $900 for those in the US. The latest price increase came in March 2026, and with Xbox raising prices just yesterday, it could also indicate that PlayStation may raise its prices again before the launch of Grand Theft Auto 6. So, putting that to the side, we'll see what happens in terms of pricing, but focusing on the performance bit, it's interesting how they're wording it because stating more stable frame rates sounds like something you would get with 60 FPS. Like maybe the base consoles do have 60 FPS support, but maybe they run between, 40 to 50 something frames per second, but on the PS5 Pro, maybe it sticks to 60. And you also get sharper visuals that I assume come from the potential quality mode. I hope this is the case, and I assume we should have more information from retailers soon, soon enough, if not Rockstar themselves sharing information in regards to the game's performance. We'll see how things play out, but you guys let me know if you think this sounds like 60 FPS will be there or not. Let me know down in the comments below, and if you guys did enjoy this video, please hit that like button, as it always helps, and subscribe if you're new. I got new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and now I'll check you guys out on the next one. And welcome back to the after show. This is the part of the video where we have a little fun down in the comments below. If you're old, welcome back. If you're new, welcome. For today's thing, what I want you guys to do is to body, obliterate, destroy, and overall harass the comment section with GTA 6 is finally real. A lot of you out there have probably pre-ordered the game at this point, and it's sitting there in your libraries waiting for the day the game launches. So if you're hyped about that, destroy the comment section with GTA 6 is finally real, and I'll definitely heart those comments like I always do because I appreciate everybody who stays to the end of my videos. And now I'll check you guys out on the next one.